Thank you very much. I get very jealous of my bandmate Kenneth. The way that he can play guitar, he always gets all the applause in the middle of the songs. I never really get any recognition. Thank you. I really wasn't asking for that, although it seemed obvious that I was. I can do other things that Kenneth can't do, though. I'm really fine with it. Like, I have a kid. So, I make my own people. Having a kid has been the greatest thing I've ever done in my life, and I've already played at Hardly Strictly Bluegrass twice now. But having a kid is better. Having the kid, you know, this last year and a half has been a magnificent experience. Having the kid that day that we had him, that childbirth was the longest, most difficult, and most painful day of my life. And I know that I didn't even really do most of the heavy lifting. But the pain and suffering of the mother in childbirth is well documented, whereas the sacrifice of the father in childbirth is actually an underrepresented voice in our society. I think it's important that we break the silence and come together, raise our voices, and give each other strength. Tell our stories. My story, everybody's story is different. My story begins about 2 weeks before the actual due date, and it's set right here in the Bay Area. We were playing in Berkeley, in the East Bay. We had 2 shows, and my son was supposed to be born 2 weeks later, but he came on the day of the last show, so we had to cancel our second show at the Freight and Salvage. And so, you know, right off the bat, my son was born in debt to Kenneth, about $400. And I got to cover that. And also, the labor started in the middle of the night. My wife was down in Southern California, and she calls me about 2 in the morning on FaceTime as I'm about to go to sleep drunk from the show the night before. And she says, "I'm in labor." And I'm going, great. Like, are you sure? We got a show tomorrow. Do you think you can hold it? We had a contract, you know, I didn't want to break it. But she clearly needed me there as quickly as possible. So I booked myself on the 7 a.m. from Oakland down to Burbank. And we did the first 5 hours of labor together on FaceTime over the phone. So just immediately, my entire month of data is shot. And I knew it was going to be a big day, so I wanted to get some sleep, but she kept me up the whole time, staying with her. And I'm pretty sure she got a few minutes, you know, there on the floor between contractions throughout the night. So she was ahead of me on the sleep front when I got home that next morning at 8 a.m. and drove to the hospital. Just keeping a tally here. And then the drive to the hospital was very scary, because at that time it had been a while and the contractions were really close together. And we didn't know if we would make it, but we finally got there, and then we got into the hospital, we got to the doctors, and then we thought everything's going to be okay. You know, now you think everything's going to be okay, but it's not this magical, beautiful, natural experience that some people make it out to be. This is a violent, dangerous, disgusting medical emergency for like 18 hours straight. And I gotta watch the person that I love most in the world go through the most horrible pain that a human being can endure. And it was really hard on me. And we had all the drugs too. We had all, if they offered it, we took it. I know we're up here in San Francisco, and our audiences, festival audiences, our audiences are self-selecting progressive crowds. Some people nowadays, you tell them you had the drugs during childbirth, they look at you like you just vaccinated your kid. But we had all the drugs, and it didn't make it any better. And then finally the kid was born, right? And now I think, okay, it's been 40 hours, now I can finally get some sleep. They show me to the room where I'm supposed to sleep in the hospital, and I'm sharing it for some reason with my wife. Some sort of shortage at the hospital. And they wheel in this cot for me, which is about 5.5 feet long with a paper-thin mattress, actual paper sheets. Meanwhile, my wife is in this big, beautiful, electric, adjustable bed. She's got her head up, she's got her feet up. The doctors are in and out, bringing her juice, water, helping her walk. Just leaving me to fend entirely for myself. I felt very neglected that entire first night. And again, I got no sleep. I'm on 2 full nights of no sleep at this point, and it's not looking good. And if my wife wouldn't have switched beds with me on the second night, I don't think I would have. But we made it through together, and I think it's important. It feels good to have told you this story, to get it off my chest. Thank you for listening.